Look inside your fridge right now. There's something sitting on that middle shelf that you probably think is completely harmless. Maybe you even had it for breakfast today. But what if I told you that very food is acting like premium fuel for the most terrifying disease we face as we get older? You're probably sitting there thinking, oh great, not another video telling me everything I love is going to hurt me. I hear you. At our age, we've heard it all. We just want to enjoy our lives, play with our grandkids, and age gracefully without living in constant fear of a bad diagnosis. But here is the empowering truth the food industry isn't telling you. Cancer cells are like zombies. They are incredibly aggressive, but they only thrive on one specific thing. Cut that fuel off, and they literally starve to death. Today, I'm revealing 10 cheap, everyday foods that act as natural shields to starve these bad cells while keeping your healthy cells thriving. The number one food on this list will absolutely shock you. Quick reminder, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Always consult your doctor before making changes to your routine or diet. But before we start our countdown with food number 10, we urgently need to expose the zombie fuel you might be eating right now. So, what exactly is this zombie fuel I'm talking about? What is the one thing that these rogue, mutated cells absolutely crave to survive and multiply? It's glucose. But before you say, I don't eat candy, so I'm safe, let me stop you right there. I am not just talking about the sugar in your coffee or a slice of cake. I am talking about the hidden glucose flooding your bloodstream from things you've been told are healthy. That heart-healthy morning oatmeal, the whole wheat bread, the low-fat yogurt, the orange juice you drink thinking you're getting vitamin C. Your body breaks all of this down into pure glucose. Almost 100 years ago, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Otto Warburg made a Nobel Prize-winning discovery. He found that cancer cells have a broken engine. You see, your normal, healthy cells are like modern hybrid cars. They can run on different types of fuel. They can burn glucose, but they actually prefer to burn fat using oxygen. It's clean, efficient energy. But cancer cells, they're like old, broken down, gas-guzzling engines. They cannot use oxygen effectively. They rely almost entirely on fermenting sugar to survive. This is called the Warburg Effect. Because their engines are so inefficient, they need up to 15 times more glucose than a healthy cell just to stay alive. They are literally addicted to sugar. When you eat a diet high in processed carbohydrates and hidden sugars, you are backing up a fuel truck and pumping premium gas directly into these zombie cells. But here is the incredible news. The news that puts the power back in your hands. Because these bad cells are so dependent on sugar, they have a massive weakness. If you change the fuel source, if you lower your blood sugar and introduce specific, powerful compounds into your body, your healthy cells will adapt and thrive, but the cancer cells will literally starve. And that brings us to our countdown. We are going to use the starvation method by introducing foods that not only cut off the fuel supply but actively hunt down and destroy the bad cells. Let's kick things off with food number 10, the immune system drill sergeant. I'm talking about mushrooms. And no, you don't need to forage for exotic, expensive varieties in the woods. Even common mushrooms like shiitake, maitake, and to some extent, your standard button mushrooms, contain a secret weapon called beta-glucans. As we get older, our immune system naturally gets a little tired. It doesn't react as fast as it used to. Beta-glucans act like a drill sergeant for your immune system. When you eat these mushrooms, the beta-glucans travel to your gut and essentially wake up your white blood cells, specifically your macrophages and natural killer cells. Yes, your body literally has cells called natural killers, and their only job is to patrol your bloodstream, find mutating cells, and eliminate them before they become a problem. Mushrooms don't just feed you. They train your internal army to be ruthless against disease. Try tossing some sliced mushrooms into your morning eggs or a warm soup. Moving on to food number 9, the liver's personal bodyguard. This is a food you probably already have in your kitchen, garlic. But I guarantee you might be using it wrong. We live in a toxic world. From the pesticides on our produce to the chemicals in our cleaning supplies, our bodies are constantly bombarded by carcinogens. Your liver is the filter that has to clean all of this up. If your liver gets overwhelmed, those toxins stay in your body and cause cellular damage. Garlic contains a miraculous sulfur compound called allicin. Allicin is like a VIP bodyguard for your liver, helping it flush out these dangerous toxins before they can cause mutations. But here is the catch, the mistake almost everyone makes. If you take a clove of garlic and immediately throw it into a hot pan, you destroy the enzyme that creates allicin. To get the cancer-starving benefits, you must crush or chop the garlic and let it sit on your cutting board for exactly 10 minutes before you cook it. This 10-minute window allows the allicin to fully form, making it heat-resistant and ready to protect your cells. Now, let's talk about food number 8, the blood sugar stabilizer. Remember how we said cancer cells need sugar to survive? Well, food number 8 is the ultimate starvation tool because it provides massive amounts of energy with zero sugar. I am talking about the avocado. For decades, we were told to fear fat. We were told fat makes us fat and clogs our arteries. That was one of the biggest nutritional lies ever told. Avocados are packed with monounsaturated fats, specifically oleic acid. When you eat an avocado, it does something magical. It keeps your blood sugar completely flat. There is no insulin spike. There is no glucose rush. By eating avocados, you are feeding your healthy cells the clean, oxygen-rich fuel they love, while the cancer cells look around, starving, unable to use the fat for energy. Plus, avocados are loaded with antioxidants that lower chronic inflammation, which is the very soil where cancer plants its seeds. Half an avocado a day, maybe with a pinch of sea salt, is a delicious way to starve the bad guys. We've covered the immune boosters, the detoxifiers, and the blood sugar stabilizers. But we're just getting started. What if I told you there is a common green vegetable that contains a compound so powerful, it literally suffocates cancer cells by cutting off their blood supply? It's a process called anti-angiogenesis, and food number 7 does it better than almost anything else on Earth. At the end of our last segment, I promise to reveal a common green vegetable that has the power to literally suffocate cancer cells. This brings us to food number 7, the supply line shocker. I am talking about cruciferous vegetables, with broccoli, specifically broccoli sprouts, leading the charge. To understand why this is so powerful, you have to understand a sneaky trick that cancer uses called angiogenesis. When a cluster of bad cells starts to grow, it needs more nutrients. So, it sends out chemical signals to your body, tricking your own blood vessels into growing toward the tumor to feed it. It's like an invading army building a supply bridge to steal your resources. Broccoli contains a master compound called sulforaphane. Science has shown that sulforaphane acts like a pair of scissors, cutting off those supply lines. It stops the process of angiogenesis in its tracks. Without a blood supply, the tumor cannot grow. It starves and shrinks. But here is the secret to unlocking this power. Sulforaphane is only created when the plant is crushed or chewed. If you boil your broccoli until it's mushy, you destroy the enzyme needed to make it. To get the maximum cancer-starving benefit, you should eat it raw. Lightly steam it for no more than 3 minutes, or do what I do, sprinkle a little bit of mustard seed powder on your cooked broccoli. The mustard seed replaces the lost enzyme and brings the cancer-fighting power right back to life. Before we move on to food number 6, which is quite literally the most delicious medicine on earth, I want to take a quick second to connect with you. We are building a community here of people who refuse to just accept aging as a slow decline. We are taking our power back. I would absolutely love to know where you're joining us from today. Please, take a second right now and drop a comment below with your city or state. It is so incredibly inspiring to see how many of us are on this health journey together, supporting one another from all over the country. Alright, let's talk about food number 6, the fire extinguisher. We are talking about dark berries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. One of the biggest drivers of disease as we cross into our 50s and 60s is something called chronic inflammation. Imagine a slow burning, smoldering fire inside your body. You might not feel it, but it's there, damaging your cells day after day. This chronic inflammation creates the perfect fertile soil for cancer to plant its seeds and grow. Berries are packed with compounds called anthocyanins. That's what gives them their deep blue and purple colors. These anthocyanins are nature's ultimate fire extinguishers. They hunt down free radicals and put out the fire of oxidative stress. But they do something else that is truly fascinating. They help your body modulate its response. They don't just suppress your immune system like a chemical pill might. They teach your body how to balance itself. A handful of organic blueberries a day, maybe tossed into a smoothie or eaten as a snack, is one of the most enjoyable ways to make your body a hostile environment for disease. Now, as we move into our top 5, and especially as we begin to talk about the deep healing of your internal systems, I want to offer a gentle reminder. While food is undeniably powerful medicine, this conversation is meant to educate, inspire, and empower you. It is always a wise and necessary step to partner with your trusted healthcare provider before making any major overhauls to your diet or routine, especially if you are currently managing a specific health condition. We want to be smart and safe as we heal. With that in mind, we arrive at food number 5, the gut guardian. This is a category of food that most Americans completely ignore, yet it holds the key to your entire immune system: fermented foods. I'm talking about real, unpasteurized sauerkraut, kimchi, and kefir. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Roughly 70% of your entire immune system lives in your gut. Your gut microbiome is like the headquarters of your internal army. If your gut is filled with bad bacteria from years of eating processed foods, taking antibiotics, and dealing with stress, your immune system becomes confused, weak, and distracted. It can't fight off the rogue cancer cells because it's too busy dealing with the chaos in your stomach. Fermented foods are packed with probiotics. When you eat a forkful of real sauerkraut, you are sending billions of friendly, warrior bacteria down into your gut to set up camp. They outcompete the bad bacteria, heal the lining of your stomach, and send clear, strong signals to your immune system that it's time to wake up and go on patrol. Just 2 tablespoons of fermented vegetables a day can completely transform your gut health and, by extension, your body's ability to defend itself. We are officially entering the final 4. And let me tell you, food number 4 is something the Mediterranean culture has used for centuries to achieve incredible longevity. But here in America, we often buy the fake, diluted version of it without even realizing it. It contains a specific compound that literally forces cancer cells to self-destruct. Plus, coming up very soon, I have to reveal the rule of cancellation, the one everyday ingredient hiding in your pantry that will completely erase all the hard work these 10 foods are doing. You cannot afford to miss this. Block 4, the liquid gold, the master switch, and a special invitation. Foods 4 and 3. Welcome to the final 4. At the end of our last segment, I mentioned a Mediterranean staple that contains a compound capable of forcing cancer cells to literally self-destruct. This brings us to food number 4, the liquid gold. I am talking about authentic, high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, I already cook with olive oil, so I'm covered. But here is the shocking and somewhat infuriating truth about the food industry. A massive percentage of the olive oil sold in American grocery stores is completely fake. It is often diluted and cut with cheap, highly processed, inflammatory seed oils like canola, soybean, or sunflower oil. If you are consuming fake olive oil, you are actually feeding the fire of inflammation in your body, not fighting it. Real, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil contains a miraculous phenolic compound called oleocanthal. Scientists studying this compound discovered something that sounds like science fiction. Oleocanthal acts like a highly trained targeted missile. When it comes into contact with a cancer cell, it punctures the cell's stomach, a part of the cell called the lysosome. When this happens, the cancer cell's own toxic enzymes leak out, and the cell literally digests itself and dies within 30 minutes. But the most amazing part of this process? Oleocanthal leaves your healthy cells completely untouched. It actually puts your healthy cells to sleep temporarily to protect them while it clears out the bad guys. To get this incredible benefit, you need the real deal. Look for oil stored in dark glass bottles to protect it from light, and always look for a harvest date stamped on the label, not just an expiration date. When you taste it, it should feel a little peppery or scratchy in the back of your throat. That pepperiness is the actual oleocanthal working. Drizzle it over your salads, your vegetables, or even a piece of fish. If you are still here with me at this point in the video, I want to take a quick moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel and join us every single day. Navigating health in our 50s, 60 seconds, and beyond can sometimes feel incredibly overwhelming, especially with all the conflicting information out there on the internet. But you being here, watching this, shows that you are deeply committed to your vitality. We are a generation that values wisdom, experience, and truth. Together, we are cutting through the noise of the food industry, finding what actually works, and taking absolute control of our longevity. I am so honored to have you as part of this family, so please, hit that subscribe button so we can continue this journey together. Now, let's move to food number 3, the master switch. If chronic inflammation is the smoldering fire that allows cancer to spread and thrive, then food number 3 is the heavy-duty fire department. I am talking about turmeric and specifically its active medicinal compound, curcumin. For thousands of years, ancient medicine has revered turmeric for its healing properties, but modern science is finally catching up and proving exactly how it works. Curcumin is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories ever discovered by mankind. It works by blocking a specific molecule in your body called NF-κB. Think of NF-κB as the master switch that turns on inflammation in your genes. As we age, this switch tends to get stuck in the on position, leading to joint pain, brain fog, and a cellular environment where cancer feels right at home. By turning off this master switch, curcumin alters the entire landscape of your body. It makes your internal environment incredibly hostile to cancer cells, making it difficult for them to survive, mutate, or spread. But just like the garlic and the broccoli we discussed earlier, there is a catch to using it correctly. Curcumin is notoriously difficult for your body to absorb. If you just swallow a spoonful of turmeric powder or take a cheap supplement, most of it will pass right through your digestive system without ever reaching your bloodstream. To unlock its true cancer-starving power, you must combine it with 2 specific things: black pepper and a healthy fat. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine, which boosts the absorption of curcumin by a staggering 2,000%. And because curcumin is fat-soluble, mixing it with a little bit of that real extra virgin olive oil we just talked about, or eating it alongside an avocado, ensures it gets driven deep into your cells where it can do its profound healing work. We are now at the absolute peak of our countdown. We only have 2 foods left. Food number 2 is a powerhouse from the deep sea that repairs your cellular walls and protects your brain. And food number 1? It is the ultimate cancer-starving food that you probably have in your kitchen right now. But I have to warn you, in our next segment, before I reveal the number 1 food, I must explain the rule of cancellation. There is a specific type of processed ingredient, hidden in 90% of the boxes and bags at the grocery store, that will completely erase every single benefit of the foods we just discussed. If you eat this ingredient, you are rolling out the red carpet for disease, no matter how much broccoli or olive oil you consume. You absolutely need to hear this. We have reached the absolute pinnacle of our countdown. The final 2 foods on this list are, without a doubt, the most critical for your long-term survival and vitality. Let's dive right into food number 2, the cellular shield. I am talking about wild-caught fatty fish, specifically salmon, sardines, and mackerel. To understand why this is so vital for a body over 50, you have to visualize how your cells are built. Every single cell in your body is surrounded by a protective wall, a membrane made entirely of fat. If you spend your life eating cheap, processed vegetable oils, your cell walls become stiff, rigid, and highly inflamed. They cannot communicate properly, and they become vulnerable to mutation. Fatty fish are the ultimate source of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. When you consume these omega-3s, your body uses them to rebuild those cellular walls. They become flexible, strong, and highly efficient. It is like upgrading the security system of your house from a rusty padlock to a state-of-the-art steel vault. Furthermore, omega-3s are master regulators of your hormones. Since certain cancers are heavily driven by hormonal imbalances, like excess insulin or deregulated estrogen, eating fatty fish helps calm the entire endocrine system down. Just 2 servings a week of wild-caught salmon or a handful of sardines can drastically change the structural integrity of your body. But now, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Before I reveal the #1 cancer-starving food on Earth, we have to have a serious conversation. I call this the Rule of Cancellation. You can eat all the broccoli sprouts in the world. You can drink gallons of expensive extra virgin olive oil and eat wild salmon every single day. But if you violate this one rule, you're completely canceling out all of that hard work. You cannot out-eat a toxic diet. It is like trying to bail water out of a sinking boat while someone else is actively drilling holes in the bottom. The rule of cancellation is this: you must ruthlessly eliminate ultra-processed foods from your pantry. I am talking about the foods that come in crinkly bags and bright boxes, loaded with refined white flour, hidden sugars, and chemical preservatives. Remember the Warburg Effect we talked about earlier? Cancer cells are addicted to fast-acting glucose. When you eat a processed pastry, a bowl of sugary cereal, or even a piece of healthy whole wheat bread from the supermarket, it instantly converts to pure sugar in your blood. You are backing up the fuel truck and feeding the zombies. But it's not just the sugar. Processed foods are packed with artificial colors, stabilizers, and synthetic chemicals. Your liver has to work overtime to detoxify these poisons. Even worse, many of these chemicals act as endocrine disruptors. This means they enter your body, mimic your natural hormones, and attach to your cells, creating total chaos and driving the exact mutations that lead to disease. If an ingredient list looks like a chemistry experiment, put it back on the shelf. Your life is quite literally worth more than a cheap snack. Now that we have cleared the toxic interference, your body is ready for the ultimate weapon. Food #1, the ultimate assassin. It is cheap, it is widely available, and you probably have it in your kitchen right now. I am talking about green tea, and specifically, high-quality matcha. Green tea contains a profoundly powerful antioxidant called egg epigallocatechin gallate. To understand what egg does, you need to know a biological term called apoptosis. Apoptosis is programmed cell death. You see, a normal, healthy cell knows when it is old, damaged, or mutating. When it realizes it's broken, it politely commits suicide to protect the rest of the body. That is apoptosis. Cancer cells, however, are rogue. They have forgotten how to die. They turn off the apoptosis switch and become virtually immortal, multiplying out of control. Egg is the ultimate assassin because it goes directly into the cancer cell, finds that broken switch, and forces it back into the on position. It literally commands the cancer cell to self-destruct, all while leaving your healthy cells completely energized and protected. But just like the garlic and the turmeric, preparation is everything. If you pour boiling hot water over your green tea leaves, you scorch and destroy the delicate egg. You must use hot, but not boiling water. And here is a pro tip. Squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon juice into your cup. The vitamin C in the lemon stabilizes the egg and increases your body's ability to absorb it by up to 5 times. You now have the complete list of the 10 most powerful cancer-starving foods on the planet, and you know the one rule you must never break. But having the knowledge isn't enough. In our final segment, I am going to show you exactly how to take these 10 foods and combine them into a simple, stress-free daily routine that takes less than 15 minutes a day. We made it! You now possess a level of nutritional knowledge that, quite frankly, most people will never learn in their entire lifetimes. You know the 10 powerful foods that starve bad cells, and you know the absolute importance of the rule of cancellation. But let's be completely honest with each other. Knowledge without action is just trivia. If you close this video and go back to eating the exact same way you did yesterday, nothing changes. The fear remains. The inflammation remains. So, how do we actually apply this? How do you fit these 10 foods into a busy life without spending 5 hours a day cooking in the kitchen? It is actually incredibly simple. I call this the cancer-starving daily blueprint, and it takes less than 15 minutes of actual effort a day. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Instead of reaching for a sugary coffee creamer or a processed pastry that instantly spikes your blood sugar, you brew a warm, comforting cup of high-quality green tea. You squeeze a little fresh lemon into it to multiply that egg absorption. In just 5 minutes, you have already sent a signal to your body to start cleaning house. For lunch, you don't need a complicated recipe. You create what I call the Starvation Bowl. You take a handful of dark leafy greens, slice up half of an avocado for that blood sugar stabilizing fat, and add 2 tablespoons of real unpasteurized sauerkraut to feed your gut army. You drizzle the entire thing generously with authentic extra virgin olive oil. It takes 3 minutes to throw together. It tastes incredible, and every single bite is actively lowering your chronic inflammation. And for dinner, you take a beautiful piece of wild-caught salmon. While it's cooking, you crush a clove of garlic and let it sit on the cutting board for exactly 10 minutes to activate that liver-protecting allicin. You lightly steam some broccoli for just 3 minutes, sprinkle it with a little mustard seed powder, and season your fish with turmeric and black pepper. For dessert, you enjoy a handful of fresh blueberries. That is it. You don't have to eat all 10 of these foods every single day. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. You simply make these foods the foundation of your house, rather than an occasional visitor. As we wrap up our time together today, I want to leave you with a thought that completely changed the way I look at food. We live in a culture that is absolutely obsessed with calories. We walk down the grocery store aisles, pick up a brightly colored box, look at the nutrition label and think, oh, it's only 100 calories. It must be fine. But here is the epic lie of the modern food industry. That label does not tell the whole story. If those 100 calories are made of refined white flour, artificial sweeteners, chemical preservatives, and endocrine disruptors, you are not feeding your body. You are feeding the disease. You are throwing gasoline on the fire of inflammation. It is time for us to stop counting calories and start counting chemicals. If a food comes from a plant, eat it. If a food was made in a plant, leave it on the shelf. There is no magic pill. There is no single supplement that can undo the damage of a toxic lifestyle. True health, lasting vitality, and a body that actively fights off disease come from eating real, whole, living foods. For so many of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, we have spent our entire lives taking care of other people. We built careers, we raised children, we cared for aging parents. We put ourselves last. But right now, it is your turn. Aging is not a sentence to slow decline and disease. Aging is a privilege. Your body is a miraculous, self-healing machine. It desperately wants to survive. It wants to thrive. You just have to stop fighting it and start giving it the right tools. Take your power back today. Clean out your pantry. Go to the grocery store and buy real food. If this video opened your eyes, if it gave you hope and a clear path forward, please do me a favor. Share this video with just one person you love. Send it to a friend, a sister, or a spouse who needs to hear this message. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to navigate this beautiful journey of health together. Thank you so much for trusting me with your time today. Until next video, stay healthy, stay empowered, and keep thriving.